Okay, so let's get into this. We all have a routine, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it sounds incredibly simple. You wake up, you eat some toast, you go to work.
You come home, you sleep. Yeah.
Yeah,
The most basic human experience.
it is. But here's the thing. If you actually try to describe every single step of your day, finding the exact right words for every little action, it gets surprisingly tricky.
Oh, it really does. It's one of those things where you think you know the vocabulary, but then you actually have to use it in a specific order.
Yeah.
You know the word bed and you know the word up,
Uh-huh.
but putting them together into get up versus, say, wake up, that's where the trouble starts.
Exactly. And that is what we're diving into today. We have a really interesting source to work with.
We do.
It's a transcript from the Mr. English podcast, and it features a dialogue between a teacher named Emily and a learner, Paul. And Paul is struggling a little bit.
He is. Right at the start, he admits he's tired.
Yep.
And that his daily routine is, and I'm quoting here, a bit messy.
I think we've all been there. So our mission today is, I think, pretty cool. We're going to take Paul's day and Emily's advice and just walk through a full 24-hour cycle.
Right.
We're going to zoom in on the specific verbs, the phrasing, all the grammar they use. The goal is that by the end, anyone listening can describe their own day perfectly.
And since our source material is made for English learners, we should probably mirror that. Keep our conversation clear, accessible, and really focus on those little aha moments with the vocabulary.
Sounds good. So let's start where every day starts.
The morning struggle.
The very beginning. The source script opens with a sound that I think haunts all of our dreams. Beep, beep, beep.
The universal sound of the alarm clock. And this brings us right to our first critical distinction in English.
Okay.
Paul says his alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. He says, I wake up at 6:30, but I get up at 6:45.
Okay, hold on. I feel like people use these interchangeably all the time. Wake up and get up. Is there actually a functional difference?
Oh, it's a vital distinction for accuracy. Wake up is the mental act. Your eyes open. You are no longer asleep.
Right. Consciousness has returned.
Exactly. But get up is the physical act. It means your body leaves the bed, your feet touch the floor.
So you could technically wake up an hour before you get up. You could just lie there, staring at the ceiling, fully awake, but you haven't gotten up yet.
Precisely. And that little gap between waking up and getting up is where Paul, and let's be honest, most of us, falls into a trap.
The snooze button.
He mentions a specific button on his phone,
The snooze button.
the enemy of productivity. Paul says he presses it to sleep for 10 more minutes. It's interesting, the source uses that specific verb, to snooze.
It's a very specific term, isn't it? You don't just sleep a bit more, you snooze. It implies sort of short, interrupted, light sleep.
Right. So Paul finally gets up at 6:45. He's out of bed. Now we move to the bathroom rituals. And the sequence here is really important for learners, isn't it? It is. The source outlines a very logical flow.
Yeah.
First, Paul says he goes to the bathroom and washes his face with cold water.
To wake himself up, of course, that cold splash.
Right. And then brushes his teeth. And notice that verb, brush. We'll see that pop up again with hair.
Speaking of which, there's a little debate in the source about showers. Paul prefers to take a shower in the morning to feel fresh.
Which is a really common collocation. And you take a shower. You can also have a shower, but take is very, very standard.
But then we get to the hair. And Emily, the teacher, she points out a nuance. Paul says he combs his hair.
Right. And Emily says, well, for me, I brush my hair because it's long.
So is this just about length?
It's actually about the tool. This is a great rule of thumb. The verb often follows the noun. If you use a comb, that flat thing with teeth, you comb your hair.
And if you use a brush.
With the bristles and the handle, you brush your hair.
That makes it so much easier to remember. Just look at what's in your hand.
Exactly. It stops you from sounding unnatural.
Okay, so we're clean, teeth are brushed, hair is managed. Now, the final step of the morning prep, getting dressed.
And Paul admits he always forgets this specific phrase. He lists the items, shirt, pants, socks. But the action of putting them on is getting dressed.
Emily makes a good point about the transition. She says first you're in your pajamas, and then you get dressed in your work clothes. It marks that shift from home mode to day mode.
It does. And there's another good distinction here. The difference between getting dressed or putting on clothes versus wearing them.
Oh, right, because learners mix those up all the time.
Put on or get dressed is the action. It takes, 5 seconds. Where's the state? You wear your shirt all day.
Got it. Action versus state. Okay, so Paul is dressed. He's ready for the next phase. Fuel.
As Emily says in the text, now my favorite part of the morning.
Let's talk breakfast semantics. The source brings up a really common point of confusion. Can you say eat breakfast or have breakfast?
And Emily clears this up perfectly. She says both are correct. You can say, I eat breakfast or I have breakfast. They're completely interchangeable.
But, and this is a big but, there's a strict rule when it comes to coffee.
Yes. Paul asks a question that makes Emily laugh. He asks, do I eat coffee?
It sounds so funny when you say it out loud, I'm going to eat a coffee. But I can see why a learner might make that mistake.
Right. In some languages, there's just one verb for consuming anything. But in English, we distinguish. Liquids are always drunk or had. Solids are eaten or had.
So have is the cheat code. If you're unsure, just say have.
Have is the universal safety net. I have coffee, I have Coast, I have a sandwich. You're always safe with have.
Okay, so Paul is fueled up. It's 7:30 a.m. Now, the clock is ticking. At 8 a.m., the source says he leaves the house.
Notice that phrasing. Not goes out of the house, he leaves the house.
Yeah.
That's the standard phrase for starting your commute.
And speaking of the commute, we see a difference between our two characters. Paul and Emily have very different ways of getting to work.
They do. Paul says he takes the bus. Again, the verb is take.
Yeah.
You take the bus, take the train, take the subway.
Right. And for him, it takes about 20 minutes. Emily, on the other hand, she walks to the office.
She calls it good exercise.
Huh.
But what stands out to me is the preposition Paul uses when he talks about the bus.
Oh, this is a nightmare for people learning English. Are you in the bus or on the bus?
Paul says he is on the bus. And this follows a really helpful rule I like to call the platform rule.
The platform rule. Okay, break that down for us.
Okay, so here's the hack. If the vehicle is large enough that you can walk onto it and stand up, like a bus, a train, a plane,
Yeah.
you are on it.
You're on the platform.
Exactly. But if you have to sort of crouch down to get inside...
That's it. You're in a car. You're in a taxi.
Precisely. And while he is on the bus, he isn't just staring out the window. He mentions checking his phone.
A very modern daily habit.
Yeah.
And he mentions listening to a podcast, specifically the Mr. English podcast, a little meta commentary there.
It is clever. But listening to a podcast is a key phrase. You listen to something. You don't just listen to a podcast. That little preposition to is crucial.
Why do we need the to? Why can't we just listen to music?
Because listen is an intransitive verb in this sense. It needs a bridge. You hear a sound, but you listen to a sound. Listening implies direction and attention.
Good catch. Okay, so Paul has survived the commute. It's 8:45 a.m. He arrives at work. Now we're in phase 3, the workday.
And this is where the vocabulary shifts from domestic to professional.
Right. He sits at his desk. What's the very first thing he does?
Turn on my computer. And immediately after that, check my emails.
The universal office ritual. But the source digs a little deeper into what his actual duties are. Emily asks him, and he lists a few phrases with verbs ending in ing.
Yes, he mentions answering emails and making phone calls.
Hold on. Making phone calls. This is another one of those classic choices. Make versus do. Why do we make a call but do work?
This is one of the hardest things to master, but there is a logic. Generally, make implies creation. You're bringing something into existence that wasn't there before.
So you're creating a conversation.
You are. And do is for tasks or jobs that are already defined. You do your homework. You do the laundry. You aren't creating the laundry. It already exists. You're just processing it.
That's a fantastic distinction. So Paul is making calls, but doing paperwork.
Exactly. And he also mentions having meetings with his boss and colleagues.
But the source text makes a point that you can't just work nonstop. You need breaks.
Right. First, there's the coffee break at 10:30 a.m.
Which Paul loves. He says it's a time to relax and talk to friends for 10 minutes. A mental reset.
Then at 12:30 p.m., the big one, lunch. And just like with breakfast, Paul uses the phrase, have lunch.
He mentions the options, too, like bringing a sandwich from home or going to a small cafe.
Right. And then you fast forward through the afternoon. Emily uses a specific phrase for the end of the day. She doesn't just say, I leave. She talks about finishing tasks.
I try to finish my tasks. That's a great mindset. It implies completion, not just running out the door when the clock strikes 5.
Right. But eventually it does hit 5:40 p.m. and Paul says, I finish work, and he's happy about it.
Understandably. So work is done, but you're not home yet. There's this gap period, phase 4, the transition home.
The source offers 2 different paths here.
Yeah, Paul mentions sometimes he goes grocery shopping.
Go grocery shopping. Notice that pattern. Go shopping, go swimming, go fishing. We often use go plus the ing verb for activities like that.
Or if he's feeling healthy, he goes to the gym.
But let's assume he's done with all that. He finally arrives at his front door. He says, I go home.
Wait, why not go to home? He went to the gym, he went to work. Why is home special?
Home is special. In English, with verbs of movement like go, get, arrive, home, acts like an adverb. It's a direction. You never use to with it. You just go home.
It's the exception that proves the rule. So he gets home. What's the ritual?
The source is very specific. He says, when I get home, I take off my shoes.
Take off, phrasal verb.
Yes. And then he puts on comfortable clothes.
Yeah.
It's the reverse of the morning. You're shedding that professional layer.
And then dinner. Paul says, I cook dinner. Simple stuff, like chicken and vegetables.
But then the chore that nobody likes.
Do the dishes.
And we are back to the make versus do rule.
We are. Why do we do the dishes?
Because we aren't creating them. Unless you're making a plate from clay, you're not making dishes. You're cleaning them. It's a task. So you do them.
I love that. I didn't make these dishes, so I have to do them. Emily agrees, by the way. She says nobody likes it, but it's necessary.
It is. But once that's done, we enter the wind down phase.
I love this phrase, wind down. The source actually pauses to explain it.
Emily calls it a great phrasal verb. To wind down means to relax after a long, busy day. Imagine a clock that's been wound up tight. You're slowly letting that tension go.
So how does Paul wind down? He says he likes to surf the internet or watch a movie on Netflix?
Surf the internet. It's a bit of an older phrase, but still common. And watch a movie. Notice we watch movies and TV. We don't really see them when we're at home.
Right. You go to the cinema to see a film, but you sit on your couch to watch Netflix.
Exactly. Watch implies observing something in progress for a period of time.
Okay, now it's getting late. We're approaching the 10:000 p.m. mark, the bedtime sequence.
This part is just as structured as the morning. It starts with the environment. Paul says, I turn off the lights in the living room.
And checks the doors. Safety first.
And then the transition. Put on my pajamas, brush my teeth again, and finally get into bed.
Get into bed. I like that. Not just go to bed, but get into it. It's physical. It implies climbing under the covers.
But he doesn't sleep immediately. There's a step for what we now call sleep hygiene.
The alarm. He says, I usually set my alarm for the next morning first.
It's essential. And you set the alarm. You don't put it or make it. You configure it. You set it.
And then Emily praises him for his next habit. He reads a book for 15 minutes.
A very healthy habit. No screens before bed.
And finally, the last action of the day. Turn off the lamp.
Fall asleep.
Fall asleep. It's almost poetic, isn't it? You don't do sleep. You fall into it. It implies surrendering control.
It really is a full circle. From the beep of the alarm to falling asleep. And if we step back for a second, there's a huge grammar lesson underpinning this entire dialogue.
Oh, right. The tense.
The whole time, they were using the present simple tense. I wake up, he eats, they work.
Why? Why not I'm waking up or I woke up?
Because the present simple is the tense of facts and habits. It describes what is generally true, not just what's happening this second. When you describe your routine, you're describing the architecture of your life.
That is such a key takeaway. If you are describing your day, just keep it simple. Present simple.
Exactly. It makes you sound confident and fluent.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a quick lightning round recap of those power verbs we pulled from the source.
Okay, here's the list. If you memorize nothing else, memorize these. Wake up.
Get up.
Get dressed.
Commute.
Have lunch or have dinner.
Wind down.
And finally, fall asleep.
It's amazing how just those 7 or 8 verbs can basically map out your entire life.
They're the skeleton of the day.
Yep.
Everything else is just decoration.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I mean, while Paul's routine might seem ordinary, the language he uses is the foundation of fluency.
It really is. When you master these collocations, take a shower, set the alarm, do the dishes, you just sound natural. It removes that robotic feeling of translating word for word.
Absolutely. So here's my challenge for you. Tonight, when you're winding down, see what I did there? Mentally walk through your own day using these verbs.
Yeah, narrate your own life. Ask yourself, did I hit the snooze button like Paul?
Do I have coffee or am I still tempted to say I eat it?
And pay attention to your get up time versus your wake up time. Is there a gap?
I think we all know the answer to that one.
Speak for yourself.
Fair enough. Listen, describing your day is the best way to practice English because you live it every single day. Use your life as your textbook.
Exactly.
That is all we have time for today. Go forth, describe your day, and maybe, just maybe, try not to hit snooze tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye, everyone.